In Northern Europe, there's a country that everyone thinks they know, but the reality is completely different from the image of Amsterdam, canals, and bicycles. The Netherlands is much more complex than it seems. Today, we're going to discover real life in this country, far from the tourist clichés, exploring cities like Maastricht and Eindhoven, two places that show two completely different sides of Dutch society. The Netherlands has around 17 million inhabitants. The official language is Dutch, and the currency is the euro. It's a country with one of the highest population densities in Western Europe, which means that urban space is extremely optimized. Living is high, but so are the costs. In terms of income, the monthly minimum wage is approximately €2,000 gross, depending on age and sector. The average salary can be around €4,000 gross per month, with significant variations between regions and professions. With approximately 350,000 inhabitants in its urban area. It often takes a back seat to Amsterdam, but it offers a quieter version of daily Dutch life. Less crowded canals, less touristy streets, and a strong student presence thanks to its large university. The pace here is balanced, with a mix of urban life and green spaces. Further west, Rotterdam represents the total contrast. The city has around 650,000 inhabitants. It was almost completely rebuilt after World War II, which explains its modern architecture and highly structured urban planning. It's also home to one of the largest ports in Europe, which directly influences its economy and work environment. Here, the pace is fast, oriented towards work and international logistics. Amsterdam, for its part, has approximately 900,000 inhabitants in the city and over 2 million in its metropolitan area. It's the country's main tourist hub, which makes prices significantly higher than in other cities. The cost of living here is among the highest in the country. The climate in the Netherlands is oceanic. Winters are mild but wet, with temperatures usually hovering slightly above freezing. Summers are temperate, rarely extremely hot. Rain is frequent throughout the year, which influences daily lifestyle, especially the constant use of bicycles. Now, if we move away from these big cities, we find two key destinations to understand the country's contrast. Maastricht, in the south, has around 120,000 inhabitants. It's one of the oldest cities in the country, with origins dating back to Roman times. Its architecture is historic, with narrow streets and quiet squares. The pace of life is more relaxed. The south has around 120,000 inhabitants. It's one of the oldest cities in the country, with origins dating back to Roman times. Its architecture is historic, with narrow streets and quiet squares. The pace of life is more relaxed. The city also has a strong Belgian and German influence due to its geographical location. The standard of living here is high, but the atmosphere is less hectic than in the north. At the opposite end in Eindhoven, with 240,000 inhabitants, it's the country's main technological hub, known for its design and innovation industry. Many engineering and technology companies are concentrated here. The city has steady economic growth and attracts many young international professionals. The atmosphere is more functional, with a strong focus on work and innovation. This contrast between cities is what makes this country interesting. There isn't just one identity, but many that coexist very close to one another. But to really understand what it's like to live here, we have to talk about daily life. The bicycle isn't a tourist gimmick, it's the main mode of transport. From students to workers, everyone gets around by bike. This completely changes how the city is experienced, reduces transport costs, improves mobility, and creates a direct relationship with the urban environment. Social interactions are usually direct and practical. Communication is clear and straightforward. To some visitors, it might seem distant, but it's actually a communication style based on efficiency. There's also a strong relationship with nature. Much of the country is built below sea level and protected by dikes and hydraulic systems. This has shaped a culture based on water management and land control. At this point in the video, if you're discovering real life in Europe without tourist filters, subscribe to the channel and leave a like right now. This helps us keep creating more content like this. Amsterdam is the most expensive city in the country. Renting a small apartment in the center can easily exceed €2,000 a month, and in high-demand areas, it can be even higher. In comparison, Maastricht and Eindhoven usually have lower prices, although they are still high in a European context. In restaurants, Amsterdam also stands out for its prices. A meal in a mid-range restaurant can cost between €20 and €40 per person. In Maastricht or Eindhoven, it's still possible to find slightly more affordable options, especially outside tourist areas. Public transport is efficient throughout the country, but its cost is relatively high. However, cycling reduces a large part of these daily expenses, especially in smaller cities where distances are short. In terms of quality of life, the Netherlands ranks among the countries with the best infrastructure, safety and access to services in Western Europe. The difference between cities isn't so much in quality, but in the pace of life. Amsterdam is more intense and touristy, Maastricht is quieter and more traditional, and Eindhoven is more focused on work and innovation. In the end, what really defines the Netherlands isn't a single city, but the coexistence of all of them. It's not just about sports, it's also a matter of mindset. Amsterdam represents the capital, tourism, the international image. Eindhoven, on the other hand, is perceived as more hardworking, more technical, more low-key. This opposition creates an interesting dynamic, two different visions of the country clashing on and off the field. Overall, Eindhoven shows another side of the Netherlands, less touristy, but more authentic in certain aspects. A city where technology, an active social life, and a strong local identity blend together. Now, an interesting addition to better understand local life in Eindhoven, a city less known than Amsterdam, but very representative of the Dutch lifestyle. First, the social scene. Eindhoven is a university and tech city, but it also has a pretty active nightlife. Something that surprises many visitors is that going out for a drink isn't limited to the weekend. Even during the week, it's common to see packed bars, with both men and women. People are open, sociable, and pretty relaxed in their interactions. It's not uncommon for a conversation to start with strangers in a bar and end up in a small, impromptu party. Compared to other more reserved European cities, social contact here is much more direct and spontaneous. My personal observation is that this mindset is closely linked to Dutch culture in general, less formality, more naturalness in relationships. Second point, soccer. Eindhoven is home to one of the country's most important clubs, PSV Eindhoven. This team has history not only nationally, but also in Europe. They won the Champions League in 1988, which is still a huge source of pride for the city. The stadium, the Philips Stadion, is practically integrated into the city center, which makes match days felt throughout the city. Even if you're not a soccer fan, it's hard not to notice the energy the club generates. It's a key part of the local identity. And that leads to the third point, the rivalry. As in many countries, soccer also reflects tensions between cities. In this case, there is a clear rivalry between Eindhoven and Amsterdam, especially through the clash between PSV and Ajax. It's not just sports, it's also a matter of mindset. Amsterdam represents the capital, tourism, the international image. Eindhoven, on the other hand, is perceived as more hardworking, more technical, more low-key. This opposition creates an interesting dynamic, two different visions of the country clashing on and off the field. Overall, Eindhoven shows another side of the Netherlands, less touristy, but more authentic in certain aspects. A city where technology, an active social life, and a strong local identity blend together. And if you want to see more videos like this about real life in Europe, subscribe now and leave a like. In the next episodes, we'll explore other countries without tourist filters.